Longlegs is directed by Oz Perkins and stars Mako Monroe, Nicolas Cage, and among others. And this story is set in the 90s where you have an FBI agent played by Mako Monroe who is essentially looking for this occultist type of serial killer that goes by Longlegs that's played by Nicolas Cage. And I'll leave it there because there's more to it that I can't really go into much detail because the movie goes beyond what the trailers are going over. But essentially, that's the whole basis of the hook is Nicolas Cage playing a serial killer. Now here's a little backstory. Now this movie was directed by Oz Perkins, who I have only seen one other film that he's done prior to this one, which was Gretel and Hansel that came out, and I back in 2020, and I remember liking that one, but I felt like it did feel like it had a lot to be desired because it had a lot more style over its substance and a lot of stuff, but it was still a good visual type of film that was able to capture a lot of what it came to witches and stuff, and I still really do appreciate the what the movie was going for and with its story and everything. And funny enough, interesting enough, is that Oz Perkins is actually the son of legendary actor Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates. So, going into this one, it got really interesting. It got me interested because I've heard he's done some other great movies that I need to check out one of these days with. I've heard he's done some other films that I may check out one of these days out of curiosity. But into this one, it got me really interested because just the whole novelty of it being a serial killer type of film that's where where the FBI are tracing the serial killer. It definitely gave me vibes of Silence of the Lambs and Seven and all that, with the whole getting into the mind of a serial killer and stuff like that from the trailers. And so this was definitely one of my most highly anticipated films of the year. And after upon seeing the film, wow, I was floored. Like, this movie really blew me away. This was everything that I really wanted to see, but it went beyond the level of what I thought it was going to do, and it was incredible in so many ways I couldn't describe. In so many ways that, I'm glad to see that a guy like Osgood Perkins is making his way into doing horror type of thriller movies like this, and hopefully he has a good career going down the line with other films that come out in his type of style. And so, to get my pros out of the way, I thought the performances in this were all phenomenal. Micah Monroe, I've really enjoyed her as an actress, especially with her breakthrough role in It Follows from years ago. And she continues to shine in these type of horror films. And in this one, she's definitely playing a similar character like Clarice Starling was in Silence of the Lambs. But she has that very type of, not really communicative at times, where she's just so on the case and she's getting into so obsessed with everything going on. It made me really feel interested where her character was going, and this is definitely a character that works in her own right because she's able to pick up on things here and there. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's also more good reason why all this is playing to play with her character, or how she's able to pick up on stuff like that. Let's just say it has a really big payoff toward the end that I found myself really really mesmerized with. And the same goes for Nicolas Cage. He continues to show that the guy just has so much range in a lot of his films, and here he's very unrecognizable because I didn't really the trailers are really making it to where you don't really see his face and everything. And when you see him in the film, it definitely looks something that I've never seen him before look like. And he really not only has just his usual breakout, his raging moments like you see in other films, but here it's very disturbing the way he plays this kind of character, in that very type of delusional, but also a schizo type of guy that just really he's obsessed with musical lyrics and stuff like that. This is definitely a killer that has got me on the edge probably since some of the other killers like Buffalo Bill and things like that. He really shines, and there's no denying that Nicolas Cage is such a phenomenal actor that he's able to really do something I haven't really seen him touch base do this type of performance before with. And so he was great. And then also Blair Underwood was a nice addition to the cast, playing the superior of Micah Monroe, where he's on the case and everything. And he actually does have a couple of funny parts I thought was actually that made me laugh at points. And the movie does have a blend of dark humor, but not to the extent where it takes the tone out of anything. It just makes it to where some of the things can feel a little offbeat, but they work into the way that the movie's going with its tone and everything. And on top of that, I got to really appreciate the atmosphere in this film. Oz Perkins knows how to really shoot the movie in a way in that very kind of grainy and very gritty type of approach that was also giving me vibes of the first season of True Detective, in that you're getting a lot of scenes where you have Micah Monroe's character Harker that's trying to solve the clues and stuff. And the way that the movie's kind of laid out in this kind of like small town area and things like that, it really makes me really feel that kind of vibe of True Detective season 1, and that whole type of vibe like Silence of the Lambs, where you're getting into while you're trying to get the pieces together and everything, and then you also see parts that involve where the killer's doing his thing and stuff, and it makes it really disturbing at a lot of points. And this is a film that, even though it doesn't show like a lot of the killings too much, when it does show them on screen and when you hear a lot of the stuff that's happening, there's a lot of stuff that's implied and also some other areas that gets really disturbing, especially, not going to spoil anything, but there is a part that involves where a 911 call is going out and everything, and just the audio alone was getting me on the edge of hearing the stuff that was being described. And then also some other things, when it gets to its final climax, was not only giving me some of the most intense and, shockful, jaw-dropping stuff that I was seeing throughout the movie, but jaw-dropping, but it was just very captivating when the way it was able to really, come to a full circle of everything. And the score too, I thought, it really gives I got to give it a lot of praise too, in that very, like a snake creeping up on you and stuff like that. The movie, this is definitely one that knows its vibe of being on that kind of disturbing level, but also keeping it very compelling the way it plays along with the plot. And gotta also give a credit to Alicia Witt, who plays the mother, Mika Monroe's mother in this. And I'm not going to go into any detail with her, but the way that she is, coming across as like wanting to, is so demanding for her daughter and everything like that, she really pulled it off really greatly. So there's that. And like, there's more I can go into detail, but this is pretty much one of those movies that it knows what it's trying to do as far as being a throwback to those type of movies like Seven or Silence of the Lambs and things like that. And this is certainly one that's going to go down as one of the most best serial type of killer films I've seen in quite a while. I miss that era when we used to get movies like this. You remember we were getting those movies like Mindhunters and Taken Lives, things like that, where we would every now and then get into stuff that involves where you either don't know much about the killer or you're getting into the mind of killers and stuff. I really get fascinated when they tell stories like this. And there's also a really great twist. The way it plays out toward the end, I thought really pulled it all together. And so there's more I'm going into detail, but I really don't have like any really kind of flaws with the movie, other than they could have showed some more death scenes and stuff with the way they played out with Nicolas Cage's Longlegs and everything. But I still got into the way the movie was still trying to tell its story, because it was more about the obsession that Harker is doing in trying to find the killer, and also the stuff that really comes into play, because they also do a new spin on the film that I haven't seen before yet in a serial killer film, and so I'll leave it there. And so with that, I'm going to give the movie a phenomenal grade on the Film Freaks meter, and this will definitely go down as one of my favorites of the year. So for those of you who have also seen Longlegs, let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next review. I'll see you later.